We are here with one of the most important executives on the new Wonder of the Seas, the largest cruise ship in the world, the executive chef. And chef, if you'll please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Yes, of course. Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm all the way from Spain. I'm working in the company since December of 2010. My first ship was Allure of the Seas, that also I did the opening for that huge ship. Since then, I'm working in Allure, in Quantum, in Anthem, Innovation, in Spectrum, in Harmony, in Brilliance, and Navigator.
Tell us a little about your educational background that allowed you to hold an executive chef position.
In Madrid, when I finished all my studies, then I went to the Culinary Institute that we have over there in Madrid. I studied there for 3 years. Then I did a few courses, and of course we did like some trainings in different hotels, restaurants. I was also working in the casino in Madrid with a really good chef, Paco Roncero. And then after that, I started working in different restaurants, and then I moved to Ireland, to Dublin. I was working there for a hotel. Then after I moved to work in resorts, including countries like Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Belize, and Mexico. And in Mexico, it was the time that I joined Royal Caribbean.
Now, how many years have you been with Royal?
12 years in total right now.
Goodness. And what all positions have you held along the way? You were mentioning before we started that Royal is so good about allowing, wherever you're from, allowing
Correct.
you to come in the bottom and work your way up. So what all positions have you held with them?
So my first position in Royal Caribbean, it was sous chef. And then my intention just was to add some working experience in my resume. So then I said like, okay, I go there, I work for 1 contract, 2 contracts, that's it. So I worked like sous chef, and then after that I became an executive sous chef. Then I became in a chef de cuisine when I opened all the Wonderland restaurants that are in the fleet. And then after they give me the chance as executive chef, which my first ship as executive chef was Brilliance of the Seas.
What are the biggest, and it can be more than one or it can just be one, the biggest improvement you've seen in the food cruise industry since you've been on the job?
You have to see all the selection that we have in the Windjammer. We are trying to do everything from scratch, more homemade instead of already made products. I'm talking about the waffles, for instance. We're talking about also the improvement of the onion soup, that you can see that is a huge difference. The pizza that we are serving right now in Sorrento's is too much better than before. All the room service dishes that we have also we improve that a lot. All the changes of a new concept restaurants, like here in Wonder of the Seas we have the Mason Jar, which is a totally new concept and it's great. We have the new Giovanni's Table menu, which is an excellent Italian restaurant. We have improved in the meat selection, in all the protein selection that we are serving around the ship, not only the dining room, but also in the Windjammer. A lot of things that we have improved from 2010 until now. You can check all these numbers when NPS is like our targets, and then every time it's higher and higher and higher, because the expectation of our guests, they are higher and higher and higher.
And I think it's wonderful that Royal has moved with, I guess, the times. People realize maybe that they're gluten intolerant, and so you've moved to gluten-free, and the vegetarian bar in the Windjammer is excellent.
That's a great point as well, because for instance in 2010 we never had a vegan menu in the dining room. Right now we have a selection of 7 days vegan menu in the dining room, which is great for all our vegan guests. That's one of the improvements that we have. And of course all the intolerances like gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, soya, whatever it is, we have it and we can do it. We are very flexible with
Absolutely. On our last cruise, we cruised with another couple, and our main dining room staff realized the first night that our cruising companion had some kind of allergy, and he brought her the menu every night beforehand and said, what do you want for the next night?
Yes, that's the way that we do it. I mean, the first day is a little bit more complicated, because the first day is when they are going to assign to your table in the dining room, and maybe we don't know, or normally we know all the intolerances or allergies of all the guests before they come on board.
Passengers can list that on the website.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes, it's very important for you to know that you can go on the website before your cruise and contact the health people there and tell them about any allergies, so you all can be prepared for that.
And if not, and maybe if we can miss something, always in the same night, you speak with your head waiter, and the head waiter is going to take your order, that we call it AVO, that is avoid verbal order. So then all that information, it come to the galley, in the night. So then when we have our production meeting in the morning, we prepare all the ABOs for all our guests. So we know which is going to be the table, who are going to be the guests, and how to avoid any kind of cross-contamination. So we are totally safe.
We had a galley tour on Liberty of the Seas one time, and we were amazed at what you do with all the leftover food.
Yes.
Tell our viewers about that.
So there is a really important position on board that is called environmental officer, which is in charge of all the recycle and all the waste tracking that we have right now. Imagine the amount of food that we have to discard. We are trying to avoid as much as we can because of course we control the numbers and we know the amount of guests and the production that we have to do, but of course always is going to be food waste. This food waste goes, we separate it. It depends if it's a dry garbage, if it has bones, or it's just like a wet garbage. This wet garbage, we're going to put it in a container, in a bin, normally it's a yellow color bin, and it goes into a pulper system. This pulper system is like they are going to blend it somehow, and then there is some marine rules that when you are from the land to the ocean like 10 nautical miles, then we can discard all that food waste, which is going to provide all the fish, like the marine life also.
Yes.
So yes, I mean, at least we don't throw it to the garbage and it's not going to be used.
I used to feel so bad because I'm kind of a light eater, and I would have leftovers on my plate and I would feel so bad. So that made me feel much better that it's turning into fish food.
Yes, that is one. And also, for instance, we separate everything. Like back home, we separated the cardboard, we separate the tins, the aluminum, the glass, and every turnaround, the environmental officer is in charge of sell that amount of
Materials.
paper or materials, and that money, when it comes back, it goes to our crew welfare, that we use it for our crew parties or crew appreciation dinners. So
Excellent.
everything is like
In a cycle.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very nice actually.
Now, where do the recipes come from for the eating venues on board?
We have a great team, shoreside team, which we have a culinary director, and we have the corporate chefs, which and a development team, which they make the recipes. For the dining room, they are already made. We have changes, we can swap it, but they prepare it. We have recipe cards with all the ingredients that we are going to use, plus the cost price of each of the items. And then for the new concept, we have a development team with 3 chefs that they prepare the new recipes. Like Mason Jar right now is the newest restaurant that we have on board. So they will prepare this for they were preparing this for the last year, trying, testing, samples, menus, and then when our VP, Lincoln, decide that is the correct product to serve to our guests, is when they approve it, and then is when we start serving to our guests, and it's successful. I mean, the restaurant is full, plus
Very popular name,
very
Mason Jar, and that is a specialty restaurant. So on your cruise planner, you need to go on and make reservations for that. Now, is there a like a testing team that I can get signed up for the new recipes? Like, you have a board of food testers
Yes, we have.
on board. That's like a job.
I mean, that's one of my principal jobs is to test everything. I mean, like we have 2 tastings every day. We have the tasting for lunch, tasting for dinner in the dining room, but also have in all the specialty restaurants, always we have like 3 dishes that we have a briefing with all the front of the house team, plus the back of the house team. Plus, after they have to open the crew mess, that we cannot forget about that. We have 2,400 crew members to feed every day breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which the crew mess is open 22 hours per day.
And that's international foods, right?
International food, yes. We have some ethnic food because it depends on the demographics that we have on board. We have always Indian food, Filipino food, Indonesian food, we have Chinese food, but for all the Western crew members, also we have another side. We have a vegan corner. We have a healthy corner, and we have everyday special. So it's like a huge restaurant. And our most picky guests that we have on board, guess what?
Americans.
No, the crew members. Our crew members are the most picky ones. No. I mean, like, because of course, I mean, we have to think that for the guests, maybe they come only just 1 week or 5 days or 10 days, but a crew member is going to stay here for 4 months, 6 months, 8 months. So.
Right.
sometimes they get tired of the same food. And it's not the
Definitely.
same food, it's different food, but it's like for them, it's like
Absolutely.
they feel like bored and they miss the food from home or whatever it is. But they're very happy. Actually, they're very happy
They
right
work
now.
long, we know that you all work long, hard hours, so I'm all for giving them a
Yeah.
varied menu. How often is the ship restocked with food?
Every 7 days. In this run that we have right now, we have the Western run and Eastern run, but it's 7 days cruises. So every Friday when we are in Fort Lauderdale is when we reload everything. We have a team, the inventory team, that is led by the inventory manager, which is the person in charge of make all the orders that you can see on board. Not only the food, but also paper or uniforms or anything that you can see on board, he is in charge of that. Of course, we help them. Of course, every cruise, at the end of the cruise, I do my walk around on all the walking fridges to see what are we going to need for the next cruise, what maybe we can reduce because it's not moving very fast. So yeah, it's very interesting right now because the pandemic, we cannot do our all access tour that we used to have before, same as you did it in Liberty.
Yes.
So it's a very interesting tour where you can check all the back of the house operation, which
It was
is
so
massive.
interesting, yes. I'll be anxious when they restart that to
Very
do it
soon.
on like an Oasis class.
Yes.
Because the food amounts are gargantuan. Generally, some of the food amounts, give our viewers some ideas of how much you take on board a week.
Well, I mean, like, let's talk about the fruits. I mean, maybe watermelon that we are going to need in a 7 days cruise is going to be like 10,000 pounds. Maybe apples is going to be another 6,000 pounds. Peaches is going to be another 3,000 pounds. When we're talking about poultry, we're going to talk about chicken breast, we're going to use over 15,000 pounds. So it's massive quantities, huge quantities that we need to make sure that we have enough for all the
Yes.
cruise.
I heard that the capacity on this cruise was somewhere around 53, 63 passengers. And this this ship takes
6,200 guests,
Okay.
plus another 2,400 crew members. It's about almost 9,000 people that we have to feed every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Now, cruisers have strong opinions about the crew serving the passengers now.
Yeah.
And I will have to tell you, at least our viewers, most of them like that.
They like it.
Has that also saved with food costs for the cruise line?
Very good point. I mean, it's not only about the guests, because of course we need to give them the safest way to get the food, but also it helps me or helps us in our food costs. Sometimes human beings, you know that when we eat with the eyes, no? So then the food is in front of you, it looks so yummy, it looks so delicious, and then you put a lot in your plate, and after you're not going to finish it.
Absolutely.
But when someone else is serving the food to you, then maybe you feel a little bit more shy, and it's like, well, okay, that's enough. And actually it's enough. If you want to eat more, it's never a problem.
Can always go back.
always go back to eat more.
Yes.
And I think that is a good way to educate the people to get the food in a buffet. But that's for me, I wish that always we are going to keep like that. But I believe that eventually it will stop.
Yes.
For sure, because that takes a lot of manpower, meaning like you are going to have, you need more people to be serving the food to the guests, and then we cannot do another things.
Absolutely. You have to be right there to serve them all the time.
Yeah.
All along the line. What is the most satisfying part of your job, would you say?
Well, when you go to a table and then they said that it's not about my job here in Royal Caribbean, it's about my job in general since I start cooking. It's like when a guest, a customer or a person, when they eat and they smile and they enjoy what you are doing for them, you know, because to be working inside of a galley or a kitchen is hard. We work a lot of hours, and it's very satisfying when you put the food, all your effort in a plate, and the other person is grateful to have it and say like, wow, then is when you feel good with your job. That's for me
Well,
the
I
most
know
satisfying part.
I get very satisfied from your cooking here on Wonder so far. It's been amazing.
Thank you so much.
So why should cruise lovers, would you say, choose Royal over another line?
Well, I mean, like Royal Caribbean is one of the top companies, if it's not the top company. We still provide excellent food. Even after pandemic, still we keep our previous standards that we had before. We are a super friendly company, which all the families they can come on board and they can enjoy. Is super safe, and also the philosophy that we have on board and what we learn to be in Royal is to provide all the best for our guests. So I think that this company, without no doubt, is the best company. It's the
And
best cruise
you've
company.
only been with Royal ever, right?
Only, and I don't need to be with no one else. I'm loyal to Royal.
And I'm going to tell them a little bit about what you told me before we started recording, because you said it might even be that some other companies would pay more. But you've said no because of Royal's philosophy and how they treat their employees.
Yes, in my case, I have been, the company treat me so good for the last 12 years. So I think that it's ethical, and also I prefer to be loyal. I mean, the opportunities that the company give it to me, I cannot forget about that, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's not about the money, sometimes it's about all the rest.
The culture and the environment.
And it's great.
Excellent.
And I
Well,
feel so happy to be working here, to be honest with you. I'm so proud to be here.
thank you so much for a few minutes.
Anytime.
And if you all have any questions, put them in the description box below, and we'll try to get them answered for you. So thank you so much again, Chef.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.